Okay, uh, we are discussing the important theory of uh, two school of thoughts that GERD associated with asthma associated with GERD. The one group says the asthma because of the repeated coughing and the asthmatic medications, they causing the relaxation of the lower esophageal sphincter and producing the gastroesophageal reflux disease because of the increased intra-abdominal pressure because of the certain medicines which causing the incompetency of lower esophageal sphincter. So because of the incompetency of lower esophageal sphincter, because of the repeated coughing, increased abdominal pressure, the condition of the reflux of that region it produce and causing the other complication of the esophagus also. Other group says no, actual the culprit is GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, because of various factors which we discuss, anatomical factors, congenital anomalies, or maybe because of the routine life, maybe others physiological factors. When the GERD present, it causing producing the asthma because of the fullness of the mouth. This stomach content, highly acidic content, they entered into the upper airways and causing the inflammation of the airway. So smooth muscle reactivity occur and causing producing the asthma. Second justification by this group is that the during the intrauterine life, when the development of the esophagus and upper airways, uh, they are start to develop from the uppermost portion of the foregut, along with the same nerve, vagus nerve supply. So because of the same origin of upper airways plus the esophagus, because of the same innervation, that is the vagus nerve. So when the GERD, lower esophageal sphincter become incompetent, vagus nerve try to react and try to contract. So the activation of this vagus nerve to contract the lower esophageal sphincter to prevent the re-entry of this stomach content. So reflexly, this action of the vagus nerve also act over the bronchial smooth muscles and causing the bronchial smooth muscle contraction also, and patient has developed the asthmatic attacks. So there are two school of thoughts, and actual reason behind this is not even not known. Debates is going on, but you should know all the justification from the two school of thoughts. Now, these investigations. Investigation are also very important when you have a doubt that patient has a gastroesophageal reflux disease or not. Uh, First is we advise upper GI study. In upper GI study, diluted contrast agent when patient ingest, and we take the different x-rays to visualize the complete esophagus, stomach, and the proximal portion of the intestine also, duodenum and jejunum also. So to assess the caliber of the esophagus, in case of the recurrent reflux, stenosis or structure easily identified at the lower portion of the esophagus. Sometimes the normal anatomy is also easily identified because of the uh, contrast agent. So hiatus hernia is also diagnosed with this upper GI study because of the incompetency of the diaphragmatic opening of the esophagus. When it becomes dilated, this normal intra-abdominal length of the esophagus, angle of his, even in the curvature of the stomach, this whole total region may herniated into the chest. So various risk factors, normal anatomy easily appreciated in the upper GI and upper GI contrast study. It's very helpful to exclude or rule out the anatomical derangement also. Second important investigation is a 24 hours pH probe study. In this study, The lower esophagus pH is monitored by putting a probe catheter. It assess the pH of lower esophagus. Normally, esophagus is empty. The passage of the ingested food fluid entered into the stomach, and the lower esophageal sphincter become contracted. So the re-entry of stomach is prevented. Though lower esophagus is empty, pH is normal. But in case of the repeated reflux, pathological refluxes, in case of the GERD, the stomach content is continuously present in the lower part of the esophagus. So pH is very much deranged. Upper GI endoscopy. This is esophageal manometry to measure the pressure in the lower esophagus, various sensors. So in case of the reflux, the pressure is very much disturbed in the lower esophagus. A catheter pass to measure the pH at that region, which is very much disturbed. Normally, the normal, not acidic content, but normal pH. But because of the empty, but in case of the stomach content, the acidic content present here, the pH become changed and become acidic in the lower part of the esophagus. And this is the X-ray of the upper GI, and where a meal and swallow, in which the stomach and the distal small intestine also visualized to assess the normal anatomy. And in upper GI endoscopy, to assess the lower esophageal junction, the healing and ulceration structure stenosis easily diagnosed, plus the complete stomach wall inside up to the proximal portion of the duodenum. So the visualization of this normal tract and sometimes the pathology is easily diagnosed. Even upper GI endoscopy is helpful to take the biopsy of that lesion also. If we are suspecting patient has prolonged history, chronic history, ulceration, structure, stenosis, and we are suspecting the lower esophageal mucosa may be metaplastic and the epithelium is changed, then it confirmed by the taking the biopsy from that region, which confirm on the histopathological examination that patient has barred esophagus or sometimes the CA esophagus because of the late presentation. So upper GI endoscopy is also very much helpful. Depending upon the underlying patient's general condition and clinical features, you can easily diagnose at which stage patient is present. Treatment, very important. As I said, the reflux is 90% is physiological phenomena in babies, so spontaneously resolve. Maybe some conservative measures, these are also very important to prevent the serious complications, because the reflux causing the fullness of the mouth and entry of this reflux into the upper airways and causing the choking and apneic episode and respiratory distress. So these important measures should be taken. A supine position with the trunk elevated. 45-degree elevation is very important during feeding especially. So it prevents the reflex of the stomach content. This normal physiological phenomena is reflex to the stomach, from the stomach into the mouth, is prevented slightly. So very small amount of the reflex reach up to the mouth at the 45-degree. In older, you easily achieved by the applying the pressure over the foot end areas, so that the foot end area elevated and prevent the reflux during the sleeping time. Second important, the position, left sided position is also very important to prevent the aspiration of this reflux into the upper airways. So when reflux occur and the stomach content reach into the mouth, they entered into the upper airway. But in the case of the left-sided position, the re-entry is very much prevented, and it coming out through the mouth into exteriorly outside the mouth, but not entered into the upper airways. So these are the supportive measures. Frequent small fluids also very important because of the excessive feeding. Capacity of the stomach is very much low in the babies. So the frequent small volumes are also helpful to prevent the reflux. And thickening of the food, rice. So these are the supportive measures to prevent the reflux. In case of failure to conservative measures and patient has continuous clinical features, some other measures should be taken. If patient has heavy weight, the weight reduction is very important. Then medication, PPI, proton pump inhibitors, omeprazole, Ryzake is very important to prevent the acidic content. When the acidic content is decreased, the clinical features very much decrease. H2 receptor antagonist like famotidine. So this histamine receptor also decrease the acidic content because acid decrease, acid secretion, hydrochloric acid in the stomach secretion is decreased. So the acidic content decrease. So the reflux when it occur, they causing the symptomatic relief of the discomfort. So the goal of treatment is to eliminate the symptom by the medication. Healing of the esophageal mucosa, once if when the reflux decrease, acidic content is decreased, healing is started. Prevent of the relapse. So the conservative measures to prevent the relapse of this reflux. And if patient present late with various complications, the treatment of the complications also very important. Surgical treatment of reflux, when the conservative measures, even in the medical treatment, it is failed, and after the workup, patient has even in the abnormal anatomy, then we advise the Nissen fundoplication, the wrapping of the fundus around the lower part of the esophagus. So the creating of the adequate length of the intra-abdominal esophagus, creation of the angle of His, so that the lower esophageal sphincter becomes more competent. So the re-entry of the stomach content into the lower esophagus very much decreased with the Nissen fundoplication. Other procedures also advised, Belsey operation, HELP procedures. These are the various techniques to produce the a normal anatomy to facilitate the competency of lower esophageal sphincter. And HELP procedures, we advise, provide stitching over the crura of the diaphragm so that the diaphragm esophageal opening becomes more narrow along with the greater curvature. So various techniques to facilitate the competency of lower esophageal sphincter. In complicated cases, sometimes the simple surgical procedures also failed. Then we advise partial gastrectomy with Roux-en-Y reconstruction. In this procedure, the stomach, because of the high acidic content, causing the very high entry of the acidic content into the lower esophagus. So to decrease this acidic content to reach into the lower esophagus, we deliberately partially remove the lower part of the stomach. So gastrectomy, partial gastrectomy along with the anastomosis to maintain the continuity of the intestine by Roux-en-Y procedures. These are the serious complications which we discussed. Okay, any question you can ask by raising the hands. Okay, Allah Hafiz.